Hello, and welcome to Framingham Now. I'm Jack Patrick Lewis, State Representative for the majority of South Framingham, some of North Framingham, and the entire town of Ashland. So today we're going to be talking about precinct and district numbers. If you live in Framingham, I represent precincts 8, 13, 14, 16, 17, and 18 on Beacon Hill. On this program, we talk with elected officials, community leaders, and area activists about the current political landscape in Framingham and the future of the town that so many of us call home. On today's show, I will be interviewing the two candidates running to be the City Councilor for District 2. My guests today are Pam Richardson and Jean Bullock. Pam, thank you so much for being my first guest today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm excited to have a chance to introduce you to those couple of folks in town that maybe haven't met you yet. I know you've been out there campaigning. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Oh, sure. A lot of people might recognize me. I've served in elected office in Framingham before. I was a town meeting member. This was back in maybe 2000, 2003, around that time frame, representing Precinct 3. And while I was a town meeting member, I was the chair of the Standing Committee for Education. Then I ran for school committee. I served on the school committee and I was vice chair of the school committee. I also served on the board of directors of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees at the time. And then I ran for state representative and served on the legislature from 2006 until 2010. And after that, the governor appointed me to serve on the Mass Bay Community College Board of Trustees, and he appointed me chair. And I chaired that board for 3 years until 2015. So I've been around.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And now you have thrown your hat into this race, and you're running to be the city councilor for District 2, which includes precincts 3 and 5. So why now are you choosing to get involved in this new way?
Well, I'm really excited about the city form of government. I was a little bit frustrated with the town form of government. I think for me the biggest issue was just the fact that there were a lot of sections of town that I didn't see weren't represented, and this was something that had been going on for years. So now we're seeing a lot of excitement and different great candidates from all corners of town. And I really am looking forward to Framingham being a city. I think we're going to see some great positive change, and I wanted to be part of it.
Excellent. And assuming you're elected here in a couple weeks, fast forward to being sworn in, what are your priorities for your first couple months or year on the city council?
Yeah, both Knobscott and Saxonville, and those are the two neighborhoods that are part of District 2. There's been a lot of great positive change in those areas. Saxonville has had the nature trail, the Cochituate Rail Trail, the nature trail, which is a little bit longer a time ago that was put in. We've had some new infrastructure, some new traffic lights, new sidewalks. The Athenaeum Hall has been repainted. There's a lot of new exciting things in Saxonville. There's a lot of, we obviously got the McAuliffe Library in Knobscott, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in both of those areas. The underutilized economic properties, the Knobscott Shopping Center, the State Lumber Plaza, to some extent the Pinefield Shopping Center. All of those areas are underutilized. They're not serving the residents very well. They're not serving the overall town very well. And so helping with those issues is one of my main priorities when I get elected.
Excellent. And as you think of sort of town-wide, are there 2 or 3 priorities in addition to the very local needs of District 2 that you'd want to focus your attention on as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The Framingham Public Schools are in my heart. That was the schools. That was what motivated me to run for town meeting way back in the day. That was what motivated me to run for school committee and for the legislature. That is a huge priority for me. I just think public education is the most important service that we provide in town, and we have great schools. I've been very pleased with my 2 children attended Stapleton, Cameron, and they both graduated Framingham High School, and I feel very grateful for that. But I think there's still some room for improvement, and we have some schools that are on the underperforming list. We need to figure out what's going on there. We need to make sure that the resources are directed to the right programs to turn that around.
Excellent. And I know you've been out there campaigning. How's that been going? People have been receptive to your message as you've gone door to door and attended events and things?
Yeah, it's been really great. It's fun when people remember me. As I mentioned, I was in office until 2010, and then I was serving on the board of trustees of the community college, which is kind of a low profile. You're not really out and about talking to people as much because you're sort of focused on the college. So it's been a while, but a lot of people remember me, and it's really been fun. And but there are a lot of new folks too. I'm not really sure exactly what the numbers are as far as the change in the population in the last 6 or 7 years, but there's a lot of new people, a lot of great new energy in town, and so it's been fun.
And what have you been hearing from folks about the issues that are of greatest interest to them as you've knocked on their doors and such?
The public schools.
Okay.
Everything in my district, the schools are a priority. And we have a lot of families. We have a lot of folks who maybe they have grandkids, but they still feel that the schools are a priority. I think people recognize that there's a correlation to their property value and the public schools in town. So that's a big issue. And also, again, the underutilized plazas and Knobscott Shopping Center, State Lumber. Those are two issues. I have had a couple of folks bring to my attention that they wish there was a little bit more police presence, a little more police coverage in the area. They're recognizing that the headquarters for the police department is downtown, and there isn't a visible police presence in a lot of the neighborhoods, and for some people that is something that they're concerned about. So that's another issue that I was sort of surprised to hear because I hadn't really heard it before. But I think it's something we need to look at.
And I know we've been hearing from a lot of the two mayoral candidates about the shopping plazas and what they think can be done. Since you've mentioned it a couple of times, what are some ideas that you have that, things that this newly formed city can do to make sure that these, plazas that could be vibrant, could be bringing people in, could be serving the needs of the folks that live in the immediate vicinity and now are an eyesore as you drive by? What could you and the rest of the city council do along with the mayor if you're fortunate to be elected?
Yeah, it's going to be a process where we're all going to have to work together, and there's going to be a lot of different opinions. Someone that I spoke with the other day mentioned the fact that a lot of artists have been displaced at the Bancroft building on Fountain Street, and they're still have not found a place to go yet. And they said, why can't they go to the State Lumber property? And that's a great out of the box kind of thought. The property right now is being basically leased by, there's an agreement between Stop and Shop and the owner of the State Lumber property to not develop the property. So the owner of the property is getting paid to do basically nothing with the property. Meanwhile, it sits vacant. I don't actually know what the condition, as far as a safety perspective, of that warehouse, or whether it's safe to even be inside of it or anything. But if there was an entity that wanted to lease it or have some kind of a deal with Stop and Shop where they would take over the property and set it up and have artists there, I think it would be something to look at. I don't know how viable it is, again, because I don't know the condition of the building, but I do like that kind of out-of-the-box thinking, and I think that neighborhood obviously appreciates artists. There's a lot of artists over in the Mill building so it's an area that would, I think, appreciate something like that. But again, whether logistically it could happen, I'm not sure. But I like hearing about out-of-the-box thinking. Thoughts like that.
I love when other people have those ideas as well, and
yeah.
It's great when people don't allow their fear of an idea to be stifled right away, that they allow it to grow, and you never know. Every project that we're working on today was somebody's random idea at one time or another.
That's right. Yeah.
So just to remind folks, you're running for the District 2 newly formed second district city council position, running against Jean Bullock, which District 2 includes precincts 3 and 5. And I like to keep reminding folks that they still have a precinct. The precinct determines where you vote and who your state rep is. For example, if you're in precinct 3, you vote at King School and your state rep is Carmen Gentile. And if you're in precinct 5, you vote at Walsh Middle School and your state rep is Chris Walsh. You still have a precinct and you still vote in those same locations. You still have those same folks as your state rep, but you're now a part of District 2 and you are running to represent both precincts together, formed into this newly formed District 2. And I think it's just important for people to remember that they now have 2 numbers to try to keep track of in their minds. But for this election and for your purpose, if you live in District 2, November 7th, there'll be 2 names on the ballot. Your name will be one of them. And as people have got to know you over the years, really decades, I think they are eager to continue to get to know you, and I think they have a couple weeks to do more Googling, watching more videos, look out their front window, and maybe you'll be there with your clipboard before they know it.
Yeah.
In closing, I want to ask the same question I ask of everyone who comes on the show, and the question is, what is it about Framingham? What is it about this town that we not only have chosen to live here and continue to live here, but to, as you've done, put yourself out there to run for elected office? I have to believe that there's something about Framingham that leads people like yourself to run for positions like this. And I'm curious what you think that is.
Yeah, I just think it's the people, really. I just think we have a lot of really down-to-earth people that have the right set of values. And I like the family focus, of Framingham. It's a very family-friendly place. People value friendships, and I think that's what it is. I grew up in Sudbury, which is just the town over. I spent a lot of time in some of the other towns in the area, and you come to Framingham, it just feels better, and I can't really describe it beyond that, but it's just a great community, and I hope I think it will continue to be, and I think it'll get even better.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a great place to end our conversation. Pam, I'm so grateful that you took the time to come on the show. For those watching at home, I hope you will stay tuned. My conversation with Jean Bullock will be up in just a few moments. Thank you so much.